Hey everybody, it's Naya. Welcome back to Diaries and Smiles. Hey everybody! So today I am starting a new series, which I am just like, I've been thinking about doing, but I was like, you know what? It's summertime. I have plenty of time to film videos. Let's just put it out there, see what happens. But this new series that I am doing today, I decided to start because, like all things, I am a huge fangirl and my fangirlness inspires much of my life, and so I wanted to have a series where I can just focus on in each video like a different author that I absolutely love that I could just talk on and on about. Because if you guys watch a lot of my even like my bookshelf tours or my other book videos where I discuss books, you know I can go on forever and ever about some of my favorite books, and so I try to like cut down the rambling in those longer videos because I'm talking about multiple books. But because this video today, this new series, is focusing on one author only, I can just really go into it and ramble and fangirl. So if you like it, let me know and I will continue this for my other, I have so many favorite books, oh my god you guys. But for all my other favorite books, I will continue and do an episode for them, and it'll just be awesome, and you can come and fangirl and learn about new authors, and it'll be great, it'll be fun. So today on why I love that author, the author I chose may surprise you guys. It's a new author that I absolutely love, and I just, like, she's just someone I want to talk about so bad right now, and that is Victoria Schwab! Okay, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 of her books, but I have read 5 of them. I'm gonna start by talking about who Victoria Schwab is. So, Victoria Schwab, also known as V.E Schwab, is an amazing, amazing author. She is amazing. I'm gonna put her photo up here. Sorry, hopefully I won't get copyrighted for this, but she is like the cutest human being. She has an amazing Instagram account if you guys want to follow her. She gives wonderful writing advice, as well as she does have like a YouTube channel where she has older videos, but they're still just as informative as ever. So Victoria Schwab also goes by V.E Schwab. Now a lot of people like don't know why she goes by 2 pen names. So basically she writes under V.E Schwab for all of her adult books, such as Vicious, which is like my current favorite book by her ever in the whole world, but more on that later. And then she goes by Victoria Schwab for her young adult books. Now this series here is This Savage Song, and we'll start with her young adult books because Vicious, her adult book, is currently like my favorite thing ever, and I know I'm gonna talk forever about it. So we'll start with her young adult books and then work our way into her new adult and adult books. So yes, so her first series, well, she's been writing for a while. I have so many of her books that I still need to read. These are just like her newer, more popular ones that I've read and absolutely loved. The first book I ever read by her was This Savage Song, and this is a young adult book. So her books are generally dark and like, okay, if you guys know me, I love dark books, I love weird books, I love creepy books, I love slightly morbid books, like demon hunting and like angels and like slaying, and like I sound like a psychopath right now, but I love that kind of stuff. Like, I'm a horror movie lover, so I love anything that's like Addams Family, like weird stuff like that. Despite people's assumptions of me, they always look at me and they go, you look like someone who likes chick flicks, and I'm like, think again. So This Savage Song is a dystopian world in which there are monsters that are born out of people's sins. So when you sin, say you kill someone, say you, I don't know, like mass murder people. This sounds really bad, but depending on the level of your sin, a different form of monster develops from your shadow. So you kill someone and you get this sort of shadow self that forms, that turns into a monster. The monsters are very unique, so it's hard for me to describe, but there is one monster that's similar to kind of like a vampire creature. But I think one of the best things about this series is going into it and not knowing anything about like the world and like the types of monsters. She definitely put a unique spin on supernatural. I don't know if this book technically falls under supernatural, but I think there is like that supernatural element to it. Supernatural, dystopian, not sci-fi, I don't know, like it's hard. All of my favorite books are really hard to categorize into one genre because they encompass multiple genres, and I think that's something that Victoria Schwab does so well in her books. Is just she pulls in the emotions of everything. I've read the first book, which was amazing, and I listened to the audiobook of the second book, and I wish I had listened to the audiobook of the first book because I think it's just one of those series that just gets enhanced by an audiobook or by being read aloud, because it's told from multiple points of view. So her young adult series, highly recommend it if you're someone who wants to get into if you're someone who likes supernatural like style books but are kind of over this like the 2010 like Twilighty sort of supernatural or like that kind of stuff. That sounds so bad, but if you want like a darker unique supernatural monster book that follows main characters, and we also follow one of the monsters in this book, by the way, and he is just, I love him. I'm not gonna go into details, but I love him. So the second series that I read by her, which was so good. I need the last book. This, like, oh my, like, I can't even describe how well Victoria Schwab has created the world in this next series. But this is the Darker Shade of Magic series. I'm sure you've heard of it. It's been everywhere. Highly recommended. Something that I feel like people neglected to mention about this series when reviewing it, people who loved it like as much as I do, is that it's pretty dark, man. Like, I mean, it's not like, I don't know, it's not terrifying. I wouldn't put it on the horror spectrum, but it definitely gets dark. Like, some of the ideas and the way magic works in this book, in this series, it's pretty dark. But in this book, this was like one of those series that was really hard for me to describe to people. I was in the elevator when I was reading the first book, and I was holding the book, and this guy came up to me and he's like, "What's that book about? It looks really cool." And I'm like, well, it has to do with like multiple Londons, but like the Londons are different colors, and some of them have magic and some of them don't, and like this guy can time travel, but he's the only one, and like he goes between, and like the guy like was just totally lost like 15 seconds into me describing this series. But I'm still gonna attempt to describe it to you the best way I can, in which it has to do with multiple dimensions of a single city. So imagine like four different versions of a city. So that's basically what this is. In this book, each of the cities are drastically different. Some of them are like awful, like cities with magic that's just corrupted that city. Some of them are thriving, like magic is everywhere, magic is in everything. The red city is just, red London is my favorite London, if I had to choose a London to live in. And then there's also another city, which the kind of is in the back burner a little bit, and that's a city that was cut off from the other three, and that our main character, who has the ability to travel between these Londons, cannot access because like magic totally destroyed that world or that dimension of the city. But anyways, we follow our main character, and we follow two main characters actually, and I love how badass our female main character is. She's absolutely amazing. Our main male character is also amazing. All of the side characters are amazing. Another thing that I think Victoria Schwab mentioned in one of her writing videos is that when she writes, she makes sure that she fully develops even the smallest of characters, so that you could easily feel like you could take that character out and tell the story from their perspective, and you definitely feel that in her books. You feel just like the characters are real because she really fleshes them out to where you could easily be like, all right, we could actually totally write this whole story from this other little side character's perspective because they're so well formed. Sorry, I'm getting all like analytical up in here, but it's just amazing. Her characters are not necessarily good or evil. They're somewhere along the lines, and you kind of we dip into that a little bit, that idea of like someone doing bad things for good reasons and good things for bad reasons in this series. But what really like fills the pond of, oh my god, this is like the gray area of no one is good, no one is evil, is Vicious by V.E Schwab. Okay, oh my god. This book, you guys, okay. Can you tell I've been waiting a while to just like vent my feelings about this beautiful piece of artwork right here. Vicious is, oh my god, it is a superhero, super villain book in which the hero isn't the perfect hero and the villain isn't the perfect villain. And I always, like, that's the only way I can describe it, is like, you don't know who's the hero and who's the villain in this story. And basically, a quick brief summary, we're following two main characters who are best friends, Eli and Victor, and they're best friends in college, and they're both I don't know, it's like not science major, but something to do with science, anatomy of the body, things like that. And for one of their class projects, they had to, you know, they had to choose a thesis. And so the characters, one of them, who I'm not gonna say who, chooses to do research on EOs, which is extraordinary people who've had near-death experiences that have then led to them getting some sort of like superhuman power. And so, as you can imagine, this just like, it opens up a whole new world, and it sounds like a story that's been told before, like, oh, extraordinary people, someone who almost dies and comes back and then has powers. Like, that just sounds like every other story. No, okay, no, it is not like every other story. The way Victoria Schwab writes this makes it sound like like it's brand new. Like this idea, the way she fleshes out her characters, the way she writes about the motivations of the characters. Oh my god, it's so good. Like you will fall in love with both the villains and the heroes, and there really isn't romance much in this story, or honestly in the other, well, there's more romance in A Darker Shade of Magic, but like as far as this series go, it's really focused on the characters and on like their individual mind and the way they think and the way they act and the plot. And it's just like, it's a book, like it's hard, I'm not gonna lie, like sometimes it's hard for me to read books that don't have romance in it, because I feel like when the plot line kind of falls a little bit, the romance will kind of keep you going. But Victoria Schwab can write a book entirely focused on a character and on a plot, and you will finish it and be like, what the heck? Our main characters end up like conducting an experiment to try and give themselves powers, and the experiments are like, oh my god, when reading those chapters, that was intense. It was intense, okay? But anyway, so they end up getting powers. I'm not spoiling you, by the way. This is all stuff you can read in the synopsis, and become enemies. And so we follow two different timelines. We go back into the past when they were in college, and then 10 years into the future when they're mortal enemies trying to kill each other now, and you slowly figure out why, like what happened that made them want to like tear each other apart. Anyways, so yes, all of her books are fantastic. If you are someone who enjoys books that really look at the psychology of characters, I guess you could say, that really like dive deep, because I know in young adult books and even in some adult books, we get these really flat characters sometimes that just, you know, they have like a basic personality, basic motivations. Victoria Schwab just totally strips down every character, and just like, it's like that iceberg, you know, it's like you see this much at first, and then as you read more, it's like, boom, all of this. Personally, I'm a reader who I look for good characters in books, and I read to enjoy and to understand people, and her books are the kind of books you could read and just learn about people and what motivates them and what makes them do evil things and dark things and creepy things and just all of that. That is my little why I love this author. I'm kind of just improving, I don't know what you'd say, just going off the top of my head. I didn't really prepare anything, so hopefully in the future videos I might make notes in advance, so I'm just gonna see how this goes, and yeah. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, keep reading, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!